And here we are for the Vasacast Invitational Round of 8. We are on Heavy Rain for our second Round of 8 match that I'll be covering today. We have the red Terran player in the top. From Team Empire, it is Kaz, who we saw defeat Illusion from Root Gaming yesterday to reach this position from the round of 16, and his opponent in the bottom position, spawning as the blue Terran player from Team My Insanity, it is JJakji. And the game that I had covered yesterday was Kaz Illusion. I'm trying to just see who else he beat to get here. Yes, he also beat Kane. So good games, actually. Kaz 2-0'd Kane. Actually, pretty impressive. So now, the winner of this best of 3 will go on to face the winner of Major against Hearthstone, which is also being played out right now. And this is certainly going to be an exciting match. Both of these players, I would say, pretty solid in TVT. We're already seeing variations as far as the build orders go between the two of them. Barracks into Gas for Kaz, likely going to be a Reaper. And for JJakji, we have Gas into Barracks. So very fast factory build coming out of JJakji, which could lend itself towards being potentially a Cloak Banshee. We could have a fast drop. Could even be just a really defensive, one of them awkward defensive Raven build orders as well. There's limitless potential, as it were. So we'll have to see, I guess. SCV is going to move out to Scout now for JJakji. And I think it's kind of interesting. The Gas first player sending the Workers Scout, not the Reaper player. And there is that Reaper starting up now as the orbital command begins as well. And Kaz is going to be just trying to be aware of what's going on. Aware of what's going on in his opponent's strategy. He doesn't need to send an SCV Scout to see a Reaper with that supply depot. But JJakji will see everything and he will know, oh, okay, Gas, Reaper, and you can see by how much gas he's mined. If you're a Terran player, you send out an SCV Scout at a standard timing, you see, okay, he's got about 100 gas mined. By the time you get there, then it's pretty almost always going to be a Reaper. And you can, of course, just stick around and wait for the Reaper to come out and kill your worker, but he's not going to do that. Fast second gas for JJakji. So on Heavy Rain, this is a map where the Reaper can be pretty effective, and oh my goodness, he's... See, that SCV's trying to hide. Oh, wow. Barely manages to avoid certain death. But the Marines are positioned to block this. And this is kind of what I was saying. On this map, the... Actually, he's going to send it back? He doesn't know. I guess he doesn't know if there's a Reaper coming or not. Kaz, man. He's like trying to find this SCV. He can't find it. And he's like, oh, man. So he has the second Reaper come out. Now he can kill it. So the reason why Kaz brought his Reaper back home, because he didn't SCV Scout, it's very risky to send your Reaper out. Because if JJakji was also going for a Reaper, it would have arrived in his base as the Reaper was leaving. So you can be at risk. But now he has both Reapers together. And this is a map where, as I was saying before, there's a lot of cliff space. You can jump up in a lot of areas with the Reaper. There's a lot of damage that can be done. And he'll at least check first. Okay, no natural expansion. And he'll actually go right up this main ramp into JJakji's base. And, well, he's going to pepper these Marines a little bit. But, of course, the Reaper will heal itself, so that's not really an issue. Cloak is on the way. The first Banshee's on the way for JJakji. And Kaz did see a tech lab. He saw a factory in a barracks. So he knows, okay, it's probably a starport. There's not really any reason why you would do anything else. So he's going to begin an engineering bay, his own starport. He's going to put out some Hellions. I actually really like this strategy from Kaz. Being very active with his Reapers as well. Gets an SCV kill there. Delays this supply depot from being built. And he's actually killed 4 workers. Kaz has killed 4 SCVs of JJakji. So that's not too bad at all. And he has the Hellion follow-up coming with 2 Widow Mines after that. And this is actually kind of interesting. This is a build order I personally love to do in Terran versus Terran. Keeping the Reapers out on the map. No tech lab for his starport, though, so he might just go for a quick Viking. Gas now that the starport is done. And he's getting just quick missile turrets to be safe against the Banshee. The Widow Mines will also help in zoning out the Banshee. Basically, he can put the Widow Mines somewhere the Banshee might try to hide, so that he cannot just like park on one side of the mineral line and shoot the SCVs on the edge. And there we see the first Widow Mine burning. Actually, pretty clever spot. That'll be actually pretty hard to see. And the next Widowmine wants to go towards the natural, but the Banshee heads straight to the natural. And this Widowmine, yeah, I'm just going to burrow that right up front. Banshee's going to give him a little love tap, and he might actually kill it. Shame. If he had burrowed it immediately, he wouldn't have lost it, but oh well. Now there's a Viking as well, and he's got the missile turret, so no big deal at all. He's just going to kill one SCV, and now he's going to make a second Viking. Still has Hellions, and these Hellions and Reapers actually poking the front. Killed a Marine, but nothing crazy. He's still at 5 total workers killed. And this is just annoying. He's at least going to kill a depot, right? You're going to get something, bait out the SCVs for you to snipe. And it costs like, okay, well, I guess I got to start more supply depots. Viking gets another shot off. And the second Banshee will show up. I still don't think there's much the second Banshee can do. He will be forced to use a scan, and the Banshee's almost out of energy, so pretty effective Banshee from JJakji. He was able to use it for the entirety of its energy duration at the very minimum. And, these Vikings are going to come out. That's the power of Widowmines. And all he needs is one scan, and the Banshee's down. So, there you can see Widowmine making it so useful. I like this. Koss puts the Reaper in the center of the map, and he can just see if anything walks through here. It's a very small thing, but it's kind of cool. This Banshee will see the Reaper and kill it, though. JJakji made 3 Banshees, actually. Seems a bit overkill, but that is unusual, actually. Make 3 Banshees like that. He's not afraid of any aggression coming from Koss, or at least none that he can't hold just the few Marines he has back home. Another Banshee is here, but there's 3 Vikings, and is he going to scan? I think he could get it. If this Banshee goes too far to the left, he's going to enter missile turret range. Yeah, why would he go there? Yikes. Okay, well, he kind of just walked into the death box because there's a 3rd missile turret out front. But now tanks are on the way for JJakji, his second barracks as well. And he's got Stim on the way. So JJakji will be able to follow this up with a quick Marine drop, potentially with Stim, depending on how late he wants to go with it. He still needs another minute or 2 before he can get up that Stim. So JJakji's medevac's now heading towards the right side. He's got 4 Hellions on the left. And there's 4 Vikings. Koss has not built a Raven. This is actually interesting. Usually I'm quite used to seeing Ravens built when you try to do a build order like this. Like for Koss, to open up with just straight Viking is I don't know. Like it forces you to use a lot of scans too. But now here comes the 8 Marine drop. The Hellions are still trying to press the front, but 2 siege tanks are JJakji's way of saying nope. And here comes the Marines. He's landed inside the main base of Koss. And Koss is bringing his Vikings over. He's bringing his own Marines, but he might lose this reactor on the barracks, would kind of suck. Oh, the medevac actually gets out. He doesn't have the boost available, and he loses it. Wow, he was 1 second away from having the boost available again to actually escape. And that is a huge win. He loses nothing. He does nothing at all. And Koss, oh wow, this siege tank is stuck. That's a hard life for a siege tank. He lowers the depot. He's like, can you squeeze out, man? Can you do it? He's like, no. He lowers the other depot. He's like, can you get out yet? Nope. Stim is done for JJakji in just about 5 seconds time. Still has another medevac on the map out, though. So he's going to try to do some damage to the drop here. See what can be done. And Koss has, I'll say, a relatively better setup. He's up 10 workers. He has the really healthy Viking count. And Koss is also getting his upgrades. So the advantage and disadvantage here for both players. JJakji, as we can clearly see, has his stim. He's going to town on some of these workers. This medevac, though, should die. And so will all these Marines now. But it's also important to consider that JJakji, despite having this upgrade advantage, actually, it's only tech advantage, I guess. He doesn't have his +1 is way behind Koss's. Koss's is about to finish. But Koss has a lot of infrastructure set up already. JJakji still has a couple more add-ons to get. And let's see. What else is there? Yeah, that economic advantage is actually pretty nice. Koss has had a steady supply advantage this whole game, actually, from the very early stages of this. So let's see, as the rest of these Vikings move over for Koss, what can he find? Medevac on the right side, not going to spot it. Marine walking out towards the left side will run into a Hellion. And he should be able to... It's always weird because of how fast the Marines attack. Sometimes they beat the Hellion. Yeah, there you go. The attack delay. If you micro, then it's a pretty easy kill on the Marine, but the Vikings are still perusing. I like this Widowmine in the front, just kind of watching what's going on here. So, Koss has a pretty solid number of Marines and siege tanks. He's looking pretty good. But, oh, Snap's going to get this medevac. Marine step up, get one of the Vikings, looking for 2. Nope. Koss cannot chase. He's like, run, Marines, go. And he's like, I don't have stim. He has a good siege tank count, but he does not have stim. And the total tank count is 5 for both players. JJakji, well, he's just like going into his own base, man. He's just chilling there. But Koss has his third landed much faster than JJakji. Koss is got to be feeling good economically speaking. There's a couple Marines still running around the right side of the map from the medevac that was killed. He's moving his tanks out towards that third base, but now Koss wants to get on the aggressive side, and I like that. I like that. His stim is done. He's got his +1 attack. His +2 attack is started. His +1 armor is coming close to completing as well. JJakji has still not yet finished that armory. It'll be done in a few seconds time, so you can get that +2 attack. But this is just a good. This has been a good game for our Empire Terran player. He's playing a damn good game, and now there's a medevac, 8 Marines going over towards the third base. And Koss is rallied there. He's not really worried. He has everything he needs to defend. Siege tanks are going to unsiege. Koss is getting ready to move in. Tanks are going to siege. Stims starts to split these Marines. There is a slight advantage in the Marine count for Koss, and that could be enough. He pushes him back. Will he try to drop into the main base? There is one siege tank that just came out in there. He loads. He unloads. And that siege tank is actually just doing way more than it should. That drop in the right side cleaned up. Not losing too many SCVs. Still fully saturated at his third. And +1 armor is finished for both players now. So, Koss left a Marine here. Not going to do much, though. And Koss is just moving on another wave. It's Koss being the aggressor against the Korean Terran player. JJakji will unsiege his tanks like this, keeping the SCV in tow to repair. And picks up a Marine here. So JJakji knows, like, oh, Koss is coming for me. Is he going to go for the base trade? No, no, no. He will come home. And Koss needs to get into position soon. Running up. Almost kills a Marine. He's sieged, but he can't do anything from this position. All he can do is try to drop the main, and that is exactly what he's going to do. 4 medevacs full land inside the main, and JJakji tries to counter Doom Drop himself as a response. He's actually losing medevacs as missile turret. He needs to be careful. He needs to move these tanks up to the low ground, and he will. And he's getting by this main base mineral line. JJakji bringing his Marines up. There's more Marines here for Koss, but the siege tank in the back could be enough. The concave is quite solid for Koss. That +2 attack is still 5 seconds away. If only he had pushed right as that finished, that would have been disgusting. But JJakji does defend. I think if Koss has +2 attack during that, he wins that fight easily. But still really annoying play from Koss. JJakji has been held back for a while. And there's a sensor tower. Koss keeps rallying his units over towards this third. He's like, yeah, there's no real reason for me to let you just kill me. So another 8 Marine run-bys coming by with a medevac. But there's more than enough there to defend. And he's sending out a medevac. He wants to scout. He's like, see what's going on here. He can actually delay mining on 2 of these patches. Those Marines, I do not know what they were thinking. And is he going to load up and try to kill this? Koss is getting the next push ready to go towards that natural expansion. There's one lone Marine to see it all. The Paul Revere of Marines. As +3 attack starts for Koss. Here comes JJakji dropping on top of the siege tanks. Not doing too much though. Empire Koss with that +2 attack cleans up these Marines easily. And now on the sensor tower, he's going to be like, oh no, there's a big push coming to his natural expansion. 3 tanks, about maybe 30 or 40 Marines with this force. He's moving the tanks. He's trying to siege. Koss stims up. He's just going to run right in, sieges his own tank, spills, focuses down 1 tank, and he's going to leave these tanks to cover while he moves into the natural with the rest of his forces, and he still has access to this third base, and he keeps some Marines back to cover for a Doom Drop. The natural expansion command center is killed for JJakji. Koss trying to move in. There's 1 tank being repaired on the high ground, but its upgrade advantage was so nice. Now the +2 is done for JJakji, but the damage has been done. Siege tanks up on the high ground, picks off some of the workers almost. Well, actually, kind of blindly walks into that, so he will be able to clean this up at least. But Koss is still in JJakji's natural. Kills one of the factories he was building, as well as canceling that tech lab. 4th base has been planted for Koss. He's got a planetary fortress here, as well as that +1 vehicle weapons coming in with the +3 attack. So Koss is going to have this upgrade lead all game long. And JJakji, he is in a tough position, being pushed back once again. He's trying to fight this, but there's not much he can do. He just loads up all his medevacs. He's like, okay, let's drop on the tanks, see if we can do something about this. And I guess that's something reasonable to do. But, oh well. And as a response, he wants to drop JJakji. But Koss, there's not too much space for these Marines to go in. He could just drop in the mineral line, though, and cause the tanks to friendly fire. Yeah, that's not too bad of an idea. I don't know how many of his workers he just killed, but he did a little friendly fire. The next push from Koss is already here, and JJakji's army just gets smaller and smaller. He loads everything up. Koss scans. He sees, like, you just loaded your whole army up in medevacs. I'm going to come kill you. He's like, I can't Doom Drop to defend myself now. He's going to lose his third base. JJakji's only got 1 command center. He's got all these tanks on the high ground. He scans. He sees him load up his whole army again. And he's just going to drop everything in his base. He's like, yeah, man, come try to defend yourself because this game is as good as over. JJakji takes game number 1 against JJakji in this best of 3 here at the Vasacast Invitational.